Hi, my wise astrology tribe, Cosmic Insight Astrology. I am your co-pilot, Krisztina. Welcome back. Actually, today I'm going to record a very, very heavy topic, which is going to happen July 15th, and it's going to happen in Taurus. The third decan in Taurus, Mars and Uranus going to conjunct, and it's going to conjunct on the fixed star Algol. So this is a very heavy topic because, as you remember, in 2022, July 30th, we did have an aspect with Uranus, Mars, and North Node conjunction, which started a cycle, and it started a synodic cycle with wars and really, really heavy energy. So right now, 2 years later, Uranus and Mars meet again up in heaven, but right now it's gonna be exact on Algol, and Algol is the demon star. However, you have to know the principles of astrology as above, so below. So you have to understand every single thing based on duality. So we live by duality. So every disaster has a little bit of hope in it or beauty in it, and every beauty or success has a little bit of disaster in it. So that is the duality over here. Uranus Mars actually is not only war, but it's courage as well. And Uranus could be the unexpected, but it could create not only chaos, it could also bring in an unexpected opportunity with courage if we are ready to grow, right? So, however, even if the conjunction could go either way, it could be very, very good if it's two benefic planet is conjuncting, like Jupiter and Venus, for example, or Jupiter and Neptune, or it could go totally off rocket, and it could be like a disaster if two malefic planets conjunct, and especially it is squaring something in your natal chart, and it is something malefic, right? I don't see your natal chart, so this is a general reading. I'm going to actually mention a few mundane aspects as well, because I always do that. And at this moment, I'm not going to bring in more asteroids because Algol is heavy enough and the conjunction is heavy enough. But I do going to analyze Russia, Ukraine, Israel, US, Biden, Trump, and you know, Netanyahu, Putin, because it's very important, not just because of we are heading into a very heavy and difficult period in our life. Every single planet is pretty much similar with the 1939 and between 42 kind of alignment in heaven. So this is a heavy energy. And if you would like to, actually in the comment below box, I can show my research for you. And I just going to, you know, either do on my website to do a blog about that, and you can read about that, or I'm going to put that in the comment sector below also, so you can see the similarity. All right, guys, if you're new to my channel, I always start with quotes. And right now I came with my favorite, and my favorite series, one of my favorite series is Revenge, because it's based on the Count of Monte Cristo. And I really love that novel, actually drama. So right now I'm coming up with a few, and I found a few quotes for you, which is really reflecting Uranus, Mars, and Algol conjunction. So I want you to be ready for the heavy energy, because of if you are ready, if you know your enemies, if you are ready for the storm, then you most likely going to navigate it through easily, right? So for example, I live in Florida, South Florida, and you know, hurricane season is all summer. So I always get ready for the storm. So even, you know, like with masks and life jackets and everything by the beds, because we had experienced before in Key West. We got flooded, and in the morning when we woke up, the beds were actually floating in the water in our house. And right now I have everything ready in case if it's a disaster, so we can survive. All right. So this is my quotes for you, and I'm going to read a few quotes for you. When everything you love has been stolen from you, sometimes all you have left is revenge. All right. So what does this mean? This quote captures the relentless drive and determination that characterize the intense energy of this conjunction. So indeed, when I'm talking about karma, in general, sometimes it says like you action, reaction, you reap what you sow, eye for an eye. And Gandhi also said, like if you go with that, like eye for an eye, then everybody going to get blind. But somehow, sometimes I feel like, all right, if my vision is or my dream is taken by other people just from pure jealousy or just pure evilness, why would they have to live a good life? And sometimes I'm questioning this, like, should I just let it go, like what Jesus Christ said, if they're going to throw a stone to you, give them bread or something like that. That's the phrase. I'm not sure if I agree with that. However, this is one quote for you. And the other one is, the greatest weapon anyone can use against us is our own mind. By preying on the doubts and uncertainties that already lurk there. So yes, doubt is really, really evil, because, if you have any kind of doubt, you're going to become paranoid, right? So that is also the energy right now of this, Algol, for example, the decapitated Medusa, and the energy of to being beheaded, and the demon star, and Mars is the war, Uranus is nuclear weapons, for example, terror attacks. So yes, this is over here, the dots, and people are already paranoid right now because of the situation around us. And if they have doubts, they're not going to trust. So trust is, we have lack of trust, unfortunately. So and the other is in revenge, as in life, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. But it's most like a karmic quote over here. So we have to really be careful how we act toward to other people. Because as I said, you reap what you sow. You might not going to get the punishment or the reaction in this lifetime. Maybe you have to carry that through the other life, but definitely your action is have an opposite reaction. And Uranus Mars is making you angry, it's making you annoyed, it's impulsive energy. So what I have to tell you, try to sleep on it, try to count till 100 if it's necessary, but don't act out from impulses. Don't act out from hatred. Even if you dislike or disgusted by other people's, action toward you, try to become a little bit like, all right, let me see, let me think this over, because of the impulses could bring in a disaster in your life. All right. And there is more quotes over here, because of Uranus and Mars is a heavy energy. So darkness scares us. We yearn for the comfort of light as it provides shape and form, allowing us to recognize, to define what's before us. But what is it we are afraid of, really? Not the darkness itself, but the truth we know hides within. Yes, so sometimes the truth could be very, very scary for all of us, right? A lot of people is, for example, not going to the doctor because they know something is wrong with them, but they don't want to hear the diagnosis. So because they are scared about the truth here. And because Uranus could be revealing actually truth, with it intense energy, with the chaos, what it's create, obviously, this quote captures the deep transformative and sometimes frightening energy associated with this astrological alignment. So yeah, it is heavy. Let's talk about the Sabian symbol over here. The Sabian symbol are set 360 symbolic images and interpretation, and each corresponding to 1 degree of the astrological zodiac. But it starts actually from 0 degree areas, all right? So it's always actually 1 degree ahead. So for example, the 26 degree is between 26, 27 degrees, but actually that is the 27 degrees already Taurus. And it's an old Indian woman selling beads. The interpretation of this symbol, that is the tradition and heritage. The image of an old Indian woman selling beads evokes a sense of tradition and the preservation of cultural heritage. It highlights the importance of maintaining and honoring ancient customs and practices. Also, there is some kind of simplicity in it. It speaks to the value of simplicity and resourcefulness because she has the beats and she is creating something. It's a modest, it's a traditional craft, what she is doing. And she is living life through simple, but, meaningful work because it's feeding her. All right, guys, let's go and talk about a little bit of Algol and talk about the mythology and the story about Algol. I already mentioned Algol is the demon star, but as I said also, it's creating abundance as well. It is associated with myth of Medusa in Greek mythology. Medusa was one of the 3 Gorgons and the only mortal among them. She was once a beautiful maiden, but was transformed into a monster with snakes for hair and a gaze that could turn people to stone. And, it is a very, very sad story because Medusa was originally, as I said, a beautiful woman who served as a priestess in Athena's temple. And according to one version of the myth, she was transformed into the Gorgon for the punishment because she was seduced by Poseidon in Athena's temple. But it's not only seduced, she was raped. And because of she was not virgin anymore, she actually got punished. So whenever I read about Algol and the story of Medusa, I'm infuriated actually because of why someone has to be punished and thrown out from the temple where she was actually a virgin, a beauty, and also serving in Athena's temple, and she was pure and kind, and just because she got raped and she is being punished because she's not a virgin. So yes, this makes me infuriated. Also the Gorgon, which is like Algol, which is Medusa, she did have a kind of look which made everybody turn into stone. So she became the symbol of terror eventually. And she is actually captured many times with a head full of snakes instead of hair. And they call her also, the Medusa itself. So Perseus found Medusa's lair and used the mirrored shield to avoid looking directly at her because, that's how she made everybody to become a stone. And actually the story before, because of, we have to go a little bit back in history with this mythology. So Perseus, the hero, was tasked with slaying Medusa. And with the help of divine gifts from the gods, including a mirrored shield from Pallas Athena, and also she got a winged sandals from Hermes, which is Mercury, and he also had a sword, but he said, all right, I'm going to take on to this quest and I'm going to try to kill the Medusa. And he did so. He slayed the Medusa. And he actually beheaded her while she slept and placed her head in a special bag to avoid its deadly gaze. So that's why many times Medusa and Algol representing beheaded people, people who losing their head in astrology. All right, so let's see what else does it say about the Medusa. So actually Algol is Ras Al Ghul, which means the head of the demon in Arabic. And in astrology, it's considered to be very, very malefic. It is bringing in violence, danger, and chaos. And with Uranus and Mars, it's actually making it catastrophic element. It's an extreme situation with these two malefic planets, right? All right, so let's see what can we talk right now. Okay, let's go and check the archetype and mythology of Mars. For example, if you don't know astrology, I'm going to talk about Mars a little bit because Mars is in Roman mythology called Mars, but in Greek mythology, it's the god of war, Aries. And Aries in Greek mythology was often seen as chaotic and very, very destructive and evil energy. However, in Roman mythology, everything going to get a little bit like weakened. The negative energy, those malefic planets get weakened, right? They get more honor. So, for example, Mars in Roman mythology, it is destructive. It could be evil, but it could be also courageous and an honorable warrior as well, right? It was actually considered a father figure and a protector of Rome, symbolized military power. And, he was also secure peace in a long term. So yes, Mars is courage in astrology. But also aggression, also conflict, also your desires and your sexual desires as well. It rules the male sexual hormone as well. And you know what is Mars also? The strategic warfare, because Mars is very, very smart, can focus, it's a bold energy, it's initiating changes, absolutely ready for battle anytime. So in astrology, however, it represents your drive, your inner energy, the action, what you are taking. And, on physical level, Mars is your vitality, but also it's ambition as well, just like Saturn is ambition, long-term ambition, but Mars is like some kind of pure energy, which is like, I want to get this and I'm gonna go for it. It's kind of assertive energy. Like, Mars is the desire to achieve. The Mars is the desire to finish something. And in your chart, actually, Mars is showing how you express your anger and how strong is your will. So actually, if you have Capricorn Mars, and Mars is exalted in Capricorn, or Mars is in rulership in Aries or Scorpio, those are pioneering, like pioneering spirits, very bold people, very assertive. They initiate changing. They very determined and very intense energy. I do have my Mars is in Capricorn exalted, so I could come off very assertive many times, unfortunately. But definitely there is a spirit inside, which is like, I never stop. I always go and finish everything I start and achieve. So yes, Mars also, like in astrology, it rules Aries, the first house, which is yourself, the way you pretend, uh, for other people. That is your identity, and also your eighth house. And eighth house is very deep transformation. It's co-rules with Pluto and rules Scorpio. So it's a very intense psychological, intimate, sexual energy. And it rules the stock market and banks and shared resources, but also personal transformation as well. So, this is Mars over here. So the other thing what we have to check Uranus, and we have to talk about Uranus. Uranus in mythology and Uranus actually in astrology. So Uranus is the Greek god of the sky, father of the Titans, and the first ruler of the universe. He was the son and husband of Gaia. And Uranus actually was overthrown by his son Kronos. And you see this Greek mythology a little bit creepy because of, you see, like Uranus got overthrown by Saturn, Kronos, and Saturn got overthrown by Jupiter. So this is like betrayal by your son all the time. So it is also, like raising a little bit of flag for me over here that the Greek in Greek mythology, the gods and goddesses were not very nice. But Uranus definitely it's a turbulent energy. However, it's representing the sky, it's representing the heaven. And it is a concept of innovation and change in astrology and mythology. It symbolizes the vast expanse of the sky and the boundless possibilities it holds. The planetary influence, sudden changes, rebellion, liberation. It rules the gay people, actually. It governs technology, revolution, and anything with unconventional method as well. Um, Uranus is the one that's want to break through from tradition, and Uranus always want to embrace something new, and it has very radical ideas. On the other hand, its Uranus also rules earthquake, anything to do with neurological issues, atomic or nuclear wars and nuclear powerhouses, atom bombs. It rules like terror attacks. It rules like social unrest, protest, for example. I told you the gay people as well, because it's unconventional. But, Uranus rules the 11th house and Taurus with Saturn, so it rules Aquarius, and Aquarius could be really, really humanitarian as well and very visionary. So Uranus has a lot of good side as well. But I always tell you, as above, so below, believe by duality, there is always good in bad and always bad in good. So yes, that's the way we have to approach life. All right, life is not perfect. It's not unicorn, rainbows, whatever, like it could be very, very difficult sometimes. And for some people, earth is, and this lifetime is hell, and for others is heaven. We can actually have both. And experience hell on earth, and we can experience heaven also. All right, and Uranus, because it's associated with the 11th house, it is actually your hopes and wishes, the groups that you are associated with, that is your friendship zone, your social network. This is your community involvement as well, your aspiration, your future. 11th house also gains and promotion from your work and from your career, money from your career. So if Uranus is aspected very well, it could bring in beautiful breakthroughs, and it could bring in amazing opportunities for us. And especially when it's actually have a good aspect with planets which are benefic, Venus, Sun, Moon, like Jupiter, even sometimes Neptune could be as well. Yes, so what could it bring in? So Uranus seeks to break free from limitation, Also, Uranus brings unexpected events and upheavals. And it's going to bring in a radical shift right now in your circumstances at home, or actually in your personal life and in the collective as well. But also with Uranus Mars, it could start something, a strong connection with humanitarian efforts, because of actually it's going to promote equality and some kind of reform, because of we want to have peace finally, right? So it's not only me, it's everyone. And I truly believe in that. So first of all, Uranus-Mars conjunction, it's sudden explosive energy. And the fixed star is involved in that, which is violence, destruction, and accident, because Algol is very, very malefic in this case. Oh, and yes, I forgot to say that when we're going to have this Uranus-Mars conjunction in 26 degrees third decan, which is going to bring in a Saturnian flavor, because the third decan is ruled by Capricorn, right? That is the third earth sign. So it is Capricorn Saturnian flavor. So it's giving it as a colder, more destructive, full of fear kind of energy. And it squares with Eros. So, like Eros could be something to do with your creative desire and your passion. And it almost feels like people are not going to have any creative desire or passion because of the destructive energy around, earthquakes and tornadoes. Oh, yes, I forget to say Uranus is big wind, so it could create hurricanes and tornadoes. So the destructive energy coming from there. And the moment it's going to conjunct on the 15th of July, the 16th morning, the moon is already in Scorpio. So by energy, the moon and this conjunction are opposing already. And the moon is the public. The moon is the people, the general people, the 8 billion inhabitants on Earth. So there is absolutely an emotional intensity because of it is an opposition, and opposition in Saturnian in nature. So it's going to affect us emotionally, right? So it could be really, really difficult energy. However, the same day, the sun is going to sextile in Cancer with this energy. So somehow we are having some kind of nurturing energy as well. And because of that, and it's also the sun going to trine with the moon. So there is, even if it's a destructive energy, somehow we're going to hold each other's hand and try to actually help each other. So I see that. So there is a destructive energy, but as humans, we are going to try to live with compassion and help the ones who are in trouble, help the ones who are having issues with weather-related fugitives or refugees, not fugitives, because fugitives is the one who escaped the prison. Refugees. So or war-related refugees. So we are going to be capable actually help others over here. Okay. So let me see, what else can I talk about? So Uranus, Mars, I'm just going to actually try to, okay, so let's talk about Venus. Because of Venus is actually in Leo by that time. And because Uranus and Mars going to conjunct in Taurus, and Taurus ruled by Venus. And Venus is going to be in Leo. And Venus in Leo going to actually sextile Jupiter, the planet of blessing in Gemini. So there will be, as I said, people, for example, Venus in Leo could be people who are singers or famous people who are going to do GoFundMe or start to do a concert for the affected areas. So I do see that in July, like a lot of famous people, going to try to have some kind of funding for the affected destructive area where, the tornado or the earthquake happened, or where was terror attacks as well. Because Uranus Mars conjunction definitely could bring in terror attacks, unfortunately. And because of, I checked the US and Israel and every other countries, and we're gonna talk about that. But because of before, when I was talking about Pluto Mars conjunction in Aquarius, I told you guys, and then after Pluto Mars squared, it started a synodic cycle, and it just squared yesterday when I'm recording this video. So there is influences by separate terror attacks, separate geographical, but the terror attacks happens the same time. So this is almost like a very destructive energy, because we are not watching the elections, or we are going to get destructive, or that's how they want to start a war somehow. But yes, it could happen. And we were talking about that in previous videos as well. And the historical context, I'm going to talk about that a little bit, because I told you guys at the very beginning, like, I'm going to share my research. Like, it's very similar with the 1939 and 42 between all the planetary aspects, unfortunately. But, there was some kind of catastrophic events over here in 1855 when Uranus Mars conjuncted in Taurus, and it was very near Algol. It did not was exact like this time, but it was very, very near to Algol, and that was the Crimean War. The Crimean War, it's the areas of actually where is Russia. So it was a political upheaval in Europe, right? And very, very harsh condition. And there was a lot of casualties, a lot of death, but affected actually the people, women and children during that war, and not actually the warriors, not actually the soldiers. And in 1939, when Uranus was in Taurus and Mars transited Taurus, we had actually the beginning of the World War II. So obviously, it was a destructive global conflict. It brought in a lot of, dramatic changes. And because Uranus is actually borders and new borders, the landscape, the political landscape got affected. And, well, we had it in Trianon, Hungary. So that was in the First World War. After that, we lost, Transylvania and a lot of area. When, we lost almost 2/3 of 4 countries, unfortunately. But, I told you guys before, it's going to be a new political landscape. Totally. The US, for example, in 8 years, not necessarily going to be United States of America. It's going to be 3 big countries. And we're going to talk about Israel, because in 8 years also, Israel not necessarily going to be on the map anymore. So let's go forward. In 1976, there was also Uranus Mars in Taurus. And then we had at Tangshan in China, we had the deadliest ever earthquake in history, because hundreds of thousands people died. All right. So Uranus is earthquake. So Mars is there. And right now, freaking Algol is in the same point, 26 degrees. And it could be very, very catastrophic. Okay, so what else can we talk about here? I mean, this is a very bad message I'm bringing for you guys, but I want to make sure if you live close by a volcano, because Mars is also volcano eruption, or, live close, like Turkey. I was talking about Turkey, and there is a lot of other place where earthquake could happen right now, but check the astrocartography. Actually, I forgot to check that for you guys, but wherever Uranus and Mars line, especially for you, you should maybe just go for a vacation during this Uranus-Mars conjunction, because it could bring in some kind of destructive energy, unfortunately. Okay, power struggle. There is a lot of buried, deep psychological issues that's going to surface during this time. And let's talk about mundane astrology, because we already know what's happened historically, so we can brainstorm, right? That's what I do all the time. So, geopolitical issues, sudden political shifts in multiple governments. There will be a lot of rebellions, a lot of protests, a lot of social unrest around the world. And it's going to bring in courageous, youthful energy with Mars as well, revolutionary movements, right? And it's going to be really intense, and people going to wake up, because Uranus is awakening energy. It wants you to wake up. It doesn't want you to be a bystander. So there is also sudden changes in policies, but is related to finance and agriculture. Why? Because Taurus is the financial axis, right? It rules your finances, and you always have to check the axis in astrology. So the axis is Taurus and Scorpio, so stock market, volatility in stock market, and agriculture, because the second house rules the gardens, the farms, the agriculture. So there is new policies over there. And because of Uranus is anything to do with artificial intelligence, there could be a lot of robotic machines or whatever is coming in, and the farmer's not going to like it, because it's a tension to learn how to actually work with those new stuffs or new machines. So they're not going to necessarily understand that. But there could be a lot of conflict between nations, and actually between the leaders. And in climate, as I said, earthquake, volcano eruptions, hurricanes, absolute. You know what? Because of I do see like the hurricanes going to get categorized, not tier 5, but it's going to be even numbered 6, or because it's going to be very, very, very strong. But because of we keep, evolving like humanity, there is going to be a lot of breakthrough, and we're going to actually somehow have some kind of new technology which is helping with renewable energy, and also helping actually to warn us 2 weeks ahead for an earthquake or for a tornado or for a hurricane. Usually hurricane could be warned ahead, like a week ahead, but tornadoes and earthquake not really. Tsunamis, they do see activities already, and in earthquake as well, but with the new technology they will be capable actually to read the frequency of the animals in the oceans, like the shark activities right now, or anything to do with their frequencies of the voice, and they are capable to read that, and they are actually talking to each other, these mammals or these big animals in the ocean, and underwater volcanic activity or anything they feel, we will be capable to translate that and interpret that beforehand. And we are capable, some will be capable to travel. It's always the one who has money, right? Because of the poor, the ones who has no information, you know, like the lack of information, the lack of, you know, like finances, and they are very poor. Absolutely, they are not capable to move. So they are still going to be affected badly, unfortunately. It's always the one who survive, who, you know, has more resources, definitely more resources, or capable to adapt for the changes. Yes, so agriculture disruption, we were talking about that, but you know, there is also some kind of disruptive factors to the production of the food. And because of there will be a lot of issue on what is that, on ocean as well. And why do I mention this? Because of this is happening in the third decan, which is a Saturnian decan, and Saturn is in Pisces. Pisces ruled by also Neptune, which is the ocean. So there will be, I told you before, catastrophic events when either the pirates going to take over of the ships, what is carrying food and pharmaceuticals. So there could be actually delays in those, or, you know, like actually out of stock, a lot of out of stock, just like when we had COVID during that time. But there is, because Uranus is anything to do with innovation, there could be really good for new teaching technologies. And yeah, so there is a significant shift in educational content. And the technology and technological innovation, AI, I keep telling to everyone, please start to know and learn about AI. If you are not doing it right now when it started, you will be doomed in 2 years. It's going to take over. But if you are learning how to use that, you are capable to manipulate and you are capable to grow with it. So it's increasing your knowledge, and you know, like you will be okay. There could be a lot of student activism, as I said, because Mars is a useful energy. Uranus is like, all right, there is a lot of demands and reform and protest in universities, and you know, in anything to do with student laws. And also there is also protest against the massive shooting in schools. It is very big in America, but right now, unfortunately, it happened in Czech Republic and also in Croatia as well. So it is taking over the world, this stupidity and mental illness. So there could be some kind of technology which comes up, and it can check the children or somehow stop that. The technology will stop this somehow. Medical technology could come a major breakthrough, something with sudden advancement. And, you know, because Uranus is anything to do with neurological issues and higher octave of your brain. So anything to do with ALS, Alzheimer, dementia, Parkinson, it could be treated, or they're going to have a breakthrough. They're going to be capable to not just treat, but heal it as well. And Uranus, so Neptune is virus, Uranus is bacteria. So with Mars conjunction, it could be an infectious bacterial disease, which is an outbreak somehow. And it has to come from land, field, soil, so E. coli, anything to do with mad cow disease. You know, things like that could happen right now. All right, and what else could happen? Finances, I was mentioned already, the axis of Taurus and Scorpio and the market volatility, definitely extreme changes over there, and careful with crypto right now, because Uranus rules Nvidia, rules AI, everything like that, because Mars is an upheaval, so it could be like an extreme change, and it could go high up actually. But just, you know, watch out not to put your eggs in one basket, please, because it could actually bring in some kind of major difficulties. But, you know, I always tell people, Pluto went to Aquarius. And please, Uranus went through with a Jupiter conjunction, in Taurus, which is anything to do with financial access, obviously. Anything with AI, anything with software, application, computer, Apple, telephone, like, iPhones, 5G, 6G, it is a good investment. NVIDIA is a great investment. And anything going to come up, IPO on stock market, which is related to AI, you can invest in it because that's the future. Anything to do with what is the Taurus is an earth sign, and its rules actually the garden, soil, and farming, and also agriculture as well. So and recycling. So if you have anything to do with recycling on stock market, it's a new innovation, it's a new technology which is helping to clean up the ocean or get rid of plastic bottles or things like that, go ahead. Do it because of it's going to bring in tremendous amount of luxury. All right. So the values of cryptocurrency, but it could be some kind of regulation as well, because Mars rules the 8th house, and the 8th house is tax related. So some kind of taxing heavily the cryptocurrency could come up because they see it's going to be the future, and obviously they try to manage it. All right. So what else could happen over here? Leadership crisis, right? Okay, you know what? I was telling you I'm going to analyze Israel. Let me just get the charts over here, and Russia, and a little bit of political climate here, because Israel actually has the Uranus Mars conjunction in their 8th house. And it has anything to do with transformation, crisis, and death and rebirth and shed resources. And it is also squaring to natal Mars in Leo. So, this is a dramatic event as well. And also Venus is in Leo, transiting the natal moon. So this is also squared by energy. So it is going to actually affect Israel people, the general people in Israel. And it's going to be very, very intense energy, and the leadership going to struggle in Israel, because also Venus is opposing to transit Pluto. So they have Venus in Leo, and it's opposing transit Pluto right now. So there is a deep transformation in the government for them. It could bring in some kind of leadership crisis. And why? Because of actually Israel has its sun in 23 degrees Taurus, and Uranus, Mars, and Algol is actually going to conjunct on its sun, and the sun is representing your leader, right? So what's happening over here? Either Netanyahu going to get decapitated, or, like exploded by some kind of, what is that? Atom, well, it's something nuclear. It could be, Uranus could be drone. Uranus Mars could be a drone attack, and it could actually kill the leader of Israel. So definitely it will bring in sudden change in the leadership. And actually Netanyahu going to have some kind, and because 8th house is anything to do with Hades, so it is very, very destructive. It was unfortunately also terror attacks, and also terror attacks and terrorists as well. So he could be captured by terrorists. But there is definitely going to be military actions and conflict over there, because 8th house square Mars in Leo, and the Uranus Mars conjunction is squaring with natal Mars. And it's military conflict, and it's going to start a very active war, unfortunately. And but actually Israel going to be directed. It's going to be directed against Israel. So this unexpected energy right now. And because of eight houses, their money, their banks, there could be some kind of issue there with their money, with banks, and they're not going to get financial resources or shared resources. So, for example, America can step back right now because America gonna have their own issues, and they're gonna talk about that major issues. And right now, Israel not going to get more resource for its stupid genocide, right? From America. So probably that could happen here. And also it could bring in social unrest against the government. Israeli people, I mean, at least my friends and clients, they don't want Netanyahu. They know he is a war criminal. They know he is actually brought in a lot of suffer for Israelis. So, this could be like they are going to go on street and they're going to start to protest against this very radical government and they want him out, right? I don't know, but probably most likely they're going to succeed because anyway, Netanyahu has very, very bad transactions as well. So yes, anything to do with technological advancement. So they're going to have more nuclear weapons, Israel, because Uranus Mars is over there, and they're going to invest in defense technology as well. But actually, Israel could have cyber attacked because Mars Uranus in the eighth house on the sun and also Pluto in Aquarius is actually across Venus and the moon of Israel. This could be like people going to get cyber attacks. So they will have to actually invest in cyber security and, they can spend a lot of money on it, but they're not gonna get more money from, definitely not from NATO or UN, and not from America, because America going to be in big poop as well. All right, so that's Israel over here. Let's see Benjamin Netanyahu, what's happening over here. Uranus Mars conjunction on Algol for him. And where is it? In his sixth house, because Netanyahu has a Sagittarius rising. Sixth house is military defense and health, and also yes, that is military defense and health for him there. So his head going to be in jeopardy. And also because of sixth house also represent public service as well. So Netanyahu could have some kind of sudden health crisis, anything to do with a neurological issue. Also, it could be some kind of military conflict where he is actually stationing and somehow he will be captured or wounded because of, Mars there. So he could get wounded. And, the Algol influence, Algol actually is beheading people, right? So it could be very, very drastic, or it could be something against him which is very evil, like he will be beheaded, literally, perhaps. So this is going to square to natal Mars and Pluto conjunction in Leo. So he has Mars actually in 24 degrees in his natal chart and Pluto 17 degrees. So it's not an exact conjunction, but Pluto Mars is very evil. Actually, it's create evil people. So I saw that in Netanyahu, I saw that in Putin, and I saw that in, actually Trump has Mars-Pluto conjunction as well. So it could create dictators or something, people who has to encounter evil. It's not necessarily they will become evil because, you always have a choice in life, but they can encounter evil. But, most of them are dictators. So we are talking about here Netanyahu, who is killing thousands of Palestinians and the innocent people. So let's talk about that. So Mars-Pluto conjunction with this intense energy, So this is very violent against him, intense conflict. And, incidents over there, it could be anything to do with also a helicopter accident as well, or as I said, drone attack somehow. And the ruler of Taurus, Venus, in Sagittarius, opposing transit Jupiter for him in the seventh house. Seventh house is your open enemies. So Iran, Hamas, and all Arabic countries right now. And do you know the BRIC countries, Korea, Russia, and China actually took Iran in. So they are totally against Israel and Netanyahu. So they are the open enemies. And right now, the ruler of Taurus, Venus, in his chart, in Sagittarius, and he has a Sagittarius ascendant, it's opposing with the open enemies and his ascendant. So this is big. This is really, really big. And as I said, they will withdraw actually the aids from Israel. So they're not going to get a lot of money invested right now in their war. And also, Saturn opposition by transit Pluto square natal Sun and Moon. So because he has actually a new moon in the 12th house. 12th house is, hidden enemies. And it is squaring with transit Pluto and oppose Saturn. Well, it is also a very, very difficult energy. All right. Enough about Netanyahu and enough about Israel. We're going to bring in other countries and leaders. Let's talk about US right now. Well, again, US also have a Sagittarius rising. How ironic is that? Israel doesn't, because it has a Libra rising, and actually, I forgot to say, but the eclipse unfortunately happened on its rising, so Israel going to be in major destruction. But we're coming right now on US. So yes, Netanyahu has Sagittarius rising, Biden and the US. So what's happening over here? For the US. US had a Pluto return anyway. And right now, Pluto going to drop back for the very last time to Capricorn. And it's going to conjunct again with its Pluto, Pluto return. It's not going to be exact anymore, but it is in the second house. So financially, US is down. It's a huge major inflation is coming the after deep into the second house. All right. We talked about that. What is Algol? What kind of destruction and crisis and how malefic it is in this? And it's going to happen in the US sixth house. Sixth house, as I said, anything to do with public health, military defense, and public service as well. So the implication over here, Saturn, Algol, and Uranus, is a very, very destructive energy. You know what's going to happen? Something with public defense and health. The US never really experienced war on its land. And right now, Saturn is in its fourth house in Pisces. So something is coming from the ocean side, but it's coming from the water, and it's going to be coming on its land. And the military defense, it's not ready for that perhaps. And also it could be some kind of very destructive health issues. As I said, Uranus Mars could be something to do with hepatitis, right? It could be also anything to do with mad cow disease, some kind of new virus coming in, which is going to actually sweep the public health over here. And we will have to concentrate on that. And, we will be distracted. Definitely. So health crisis, military conflicts, definitely possible over here. And it's going to become and bring in chaos. It's also going to be something like the workforce, because sixth house is the workforce of the US, the people who are actually working, the working people, how do you call that? Oh my God, I forget that. Not unity. The union is going to go for strike. The union is going to be in strike. They're going to need more money for the health workers, the nurses, for the teachers, right? and they're gonna be actually right now in destructive energy. They're going to protest because their salary is very, very low. You know, nurses and teachers supposed to be actually pay more money because of that is one of the most important job to teaching the next generation, making them able to think, and also your health is your wealth. Come on. And they are not paid well. So US has an Aquarius moon, but it's in late degrees, so Pluto is not affecting yet. But actually, the Uranus and the Mars and Aqua conjunction, it is squaring with the natal moon. Moon is the people. Moon is the home and real estate as well for the country. So it's going to be a major crisis in real estate in some states. And, you know, it could be because of there will be a lot of hurricane or tornadoes, and, you know, the insurance not going to be able to pay the money of the people who are suffered by those natural disasters. And FEMA not going to be able to have, because that's going to be very intense. But also crisis in real estate, right? And it's crisis, the people going to be affected, their health or their public defense going to be affected, unfortunately. Neighborhood communities, you know, like communication could be affected. So, for example, because of it's in the third house of the US, we can talk about like the phones not going to work. They're not going to be reachable because there is a hurricane and there is an earthquake or you know, tornadoes, and everything is going to be destroyed, which is the base of the communication. So people won't be able to talk to each other. And because Uranus representing internet or cyber attack, and because of sixth house, anything to do with health industry, unfortunately, hospitals could have cyber attacks, or, you know, like people can have cyber attacks, or US could have cyber attack, and we're not going to be able to communicate. And because Uranus is chaos, it's going to start to be a very destructive energy. And I don't know if you guys have seen that stupid movie. I was like absolutely shocked by the Michelle Obama and Barack Obama actually produced a movie, and that's movie called, Martin, what is the movie? Obama.
The end of the world. It's something with the end of the world.
Okay, as my son says, the end of the world or something like that, but I'm gonna check it. But Obama was actually producing this movie, and you know what? Try to watch it, and it is like a um, predictive movie somehow, because it predicts, you know, what's going to happen with communication and with softwares and anything to do um, with oh, leave the word behind. Okay, Maton just told me, leave the word behind, guys. Watch the movie. And 2 years ago, I made a video and I said, okay, Tesla is going to somehow go. I see in my dreams, and I see Teslas not to be capable. We're not going to be capable to navigate them because of the computer system is going to be off. And this movie predicts that as well. And I would like you to watch it because this is very creepy movie. Why would a former president produce a movie like that? If they don't want us to know something is coming, something major, so get ready. You know, I always tell everyone, just like for I get ready for the hurricane season, I get Amazon ready with everything, you know, and trying to save my family if I have to. Okay, obviously, if it's something terrible, then you might not want to survive. I mean, it is just sarcasm over here, but watch the movie. That's it. So it could indicate some kind of cyber attack. It could indicate some kind of major tensions, anything to do with the software, and internet is out for a week, and we're not capable to reach others. We don't know what's happening with our loved ones in other countries, and it could be very, very scary. And US has actually transit Jupiter in the 7th house, and 7th house anything to do with open enemies, and Jupiter going to be exact opposing US ascendant. So there is an enemy over there who is coming toward us, okay? And actually can attack us on our land, because Saturn is in Pisces right now. So it's gonna happen something. And as I said, they let in a lot of people, immigration policies, what not fine right now. And Saturn wanted to have boundaries, but in Pisces it's very hard, because Pisces ruled by Neptune, which doesn't want to have immigration policies and boundaries. And they let in a lot of people, and a lot of people are actually military-aged young men. If you were watching, I watched actually a lot of podcasts with Kennedy, and I saw him to interview people, and those were coming from Africa and from all over. It's not South American people, most of them coming from other continents, right? And then they are all young males. And that's why I said Uranus Mars could implement like terror attacks all over in the world, but for example, every big cities in the same time. I know this is very dark, but get ready. All right. So, and because it's Jupiter is actually opposing the ascendant right now, okay, the leadership is in jeopardy anyway, or leadership is crap, right? Because of no matter what you say, if you are a Democrat, I understand, I absolutely understand. And I have nothing against that. But this person, President Biden, is incapable to read a script. So he is like so old and so slow and so old, like he's not supposed to be in a position like that. This is ridiculous. It is painful for me to watch a news with him, because I just can't. It's ridiculous. And that's what we got. So terrible. All right, but we're going to analyze Biden as well, guys. And so definitely, or alliances. We thought we have alliances. Seventh house could be alliances as well, not just open enemies. And it's going to be turns against us. And are you surprised? Because I'm not. We get involved in every crap. I'm absolutely not surprised over here. So it's going to affect our international relationship and partnership, and it's going to bring in changes, and we're not going to like, because the change going to be unpredictable, and it brings conflict in. All right, so then also we're going to have Saturn transit in the 4th house, right? And it's going to actually square natal Mars in Gemini. And Gemini, natal Mars is again, Mars is aggression and conflict. And then 7th house is open enemies. Open enemies try to attack the land of the US. So, there is going to be a lot of restriction or challenges to military defense. They need to re-strategize everything in military as well. Okay. So that's enough about the US, because it's tragedy, I think, as well. It's really bad, but let's check. Let's check Biden. Where is Biden for me? Let me see. I'm going to bring up here President Biden for you guys. President Biden, I just have to find him on my phone. Just wait for a second, because Biden also have a Sagittarius ascendant, and he had the last eclipse happened actually on his moon. And this is tragedy. So I have Biden over here, guys. Okay, President Biden. So he has a stellium in Scorpio in the 12th house, and actually Uranus Algol and Mars conjunction is across his Venus and Sun conjunction and stellium in the 12th house, which is hospitalization, right? So his health is like absolutely in terrible condition, unfortunately, or fortunately, maybe. I mean, I don't take me wrong. I don't wish anyone to get sick or die or something like that. But, if somebody is not fit for leading and this person is not fit for leading, he just has to leave for, please, like, because we're going to be in big poop because of him and because of the leadership over here. So this is terrible. And his health is going to be affected. Anyway, he has a Pluto opposition as well. And also his seventh house planets are squaring also Saturn in the fourth, which is also, again, issue with his, with his health as well. So there is a lot of major issues here, which could be very, very difficult for him. Yes. So, okay, what else is happening over here? Well, let's see Russia. Okay. So Uranus Mars conjunction on Algol, but it's going to happen in the 10th house of Russia, the government, authority figure, leadership. So it's going to have some kind of disruptive energy also there in Russia with the authority figures. But I would think like Putin going to go apeshit and he going to actually terrorize his own nation because like he already won the election. Obviously, it's a dictatorism, so there was no option for election, right? So he is in leadership, and the 10th house is leadership and government. And Uranus again, they might going to try to attack them. And but on the other hand, I would think it's more like he will actually order more military action toward to Ukraine. And I'm gonna tell you why, because Ukraine astrological chart is terrible, like terrible. So Ukraine is going to fail, and it's going to get very indestructive energy because of in US not going to be able to support Ukraine anymore and Israel, and that's why it's like Putin can go apeshit on Ukraine and can be actually very, very destructive over there. The government itself going to become Algol and absolutely sadist and very, very evil, malefic energy over there from the government. And let's see Ukraine. Ukraine actually has a Aquarius moon and also an Aquarius, what is that rising sign? So Ukraine is in a very, very destructive crisis, unfortunately. For example, the crisis going to happen, Algol, Uranus, Mars in the fourth house. Fourth house is the Ukrainian land, the homeland, domestic affairs. So the foundational stability, it's gone, it's under attack. It's like, and fourth house ruled by the moon. So this is the people of Ukraine. That it's going to be chaos, and a lot of people actually going to unfortunately be the casualties, how they say, but dying because of the recent Russian attack, which is going to affect Ukraine. Yes, and it's also square to natal Jupiter, Mercury, Venus conjunction in the 7th house, which is the open enemy of Ukraine. So obviously it's expanding, and Mercury anything to do with vehicles or drones. So Russia going to have a lot of new military drones and just going to go and affect. And Uranus is nuclear bomb or nuclear powerhouses. So it could be like they're going to attack a nuclear station somehow, and it's going to explode in Ukraine, and it's going to have a lot of casualty death after that, unfortunately. And then you can also, I can go very deep into this, because, for example, the ruler of Taurus, where the Uranus Algol and Mars conjunction happens, which is finance and values, is going to actually oppose this kind of Saturnian energy, which is in Pisces. So there is a destructive seize on its finances. So they're not going to have resources, what they got from, for example, US before. So definitely it's going to stop because the US will have to deal with national disasters and conflict on its own area or some kind of new hepatitis E. coli outbreak, So absolutely it's going to be destructive. So we're not going to be able to have. All right, so Ukraine will have to rebuild itself if it will be able to, but most likely won't be. Yes, and China as well. China has also an Aquarius rising as well. So China could be under pressure right now as well. Let me see, actually, just wait for 1 second if I can see this. I have on astro.com a lot of chart selection. Log in and let me see China for you. But maybe I don't have time for this because I talk too much about mundane astrology and how it will turn out for multiple countries, but definitely it's a lot of rebellion energy. So let's talk about more like each individual signs, all right? And I have to tell you, this is a very destructive energy, but in our personal life, it's always weaker and we can make a change. And what I tell to my children, mind over matter. You create your own destiny, not destiny, but you create your own story and you write your own story. So make sure your vibes are positive and you still try to make a change no matter what. There is always a choice. There is always a choice, even if you have to choose from two bad choices, but there is always a choice, and try to make choices that is supporting you and your family and your neighborhood, and try to stay compassionate. But get ready. Make sure you get ready for this very, very heavy energy. All right, guys. Okay. So let's see. Aries rising, sun and moon. It's going to happen. Let's see. Am I recording? Yes, I'm recording. Okay. So Aries rising, sun and moon, it's going to happen in your second house because Taurus is your second house, real estate. Second house, anything to do with your values, with your finances, the money what you make, right? And the food what you eat. So what could happen over here? Uranus Mars actually could bring in a sudden inheritance or maybe even a lottery winning, something what can boost your finances unexpectedly, an unexpected windfall, right? But if you are investing in stock market, I'm not going to recommend you to put $1 million in one kind of stock. Make sure you are spreading it out because there could be an unexpected loss as well. All right, so risky investment, something what you don't know about, definitely think twice before you do. But if you have anything to do with technology stocks, Nvidia, anything to do with crypto, just look out and little by little you are capable to invest because it could bring in return for you. But if you are upset right now and you are actually doing some kind of impulsive spending, like, okay, I'm going to go buy a car. I wanted to have an XUV, but right now I want to have a luxurious PD car, Mercedes PD. Please don't do that because it's going to impact your saving later on and you're going to regret and you won't be able to return it, okay? There could be also some kind of career change which can bring in actually, higher salary for you. And if you are happen to sell your property, right now you can get an amazing profit out of that. Financial losses also could occur because, as I said, conjunction could go either way. But, anything to do with failed businesses, so careful over there, or at this moment, maybe not too great to start something new. Because second house is your talent, that is your gift, and Uranus is unexpected, you might going to actually start to discover some hidden talent for yourself, anything to do about freelance, anything to do about writings, which can bring in additional income. If you would like to have a strategy for something to do with your debt resolution, put away money for your retirement, you can start that. And you can also start to pay off your debts as well. And right now you can get an unexpected surprise from someone to give you a gift. So maybe you're going to get a very, very luxurious gift and you're going to be really valuable and you will be very, very happy about that. Yes. All right, Taurus rising, sun and moon. Guys, it's going to happen in your first house. First house, anything is about you. That's your identity. That is your self-confidence. That is the mask, what you are actually wearing and pretend to others, right? So that is a definitely personal makeover. You are going to actually change your hairstyle, your wardrobe, your appearance, and the appearance going to actually bring in more like possibility to connect with other people. You're going to raise some kind of eyebrow. A lot of you maybe are going through gender changes, or you're gonna come out from the closet as a homosexual person. It could be as well. So, it's very intense energy. So, for example, you're going to start a new fitness regime, okay? And you want to lose weight, and it's going to be like starve yourself because it's a Saturnian flavor, the third decan. So it's going to be something to do with fasting and rapid weight loss. Be careful because the first house could be injury. Mars is over there. It could be a wound shot. It could be anything. You are going to protest and you get stepped on. So careful. It is a destructive energy. You don't want to be around guns and, dangerous things and dangerous situation because you can get wounded, you can get hurt. But there is definitely a different, a major transformation, and it will be profound. If you would like to take on to rulership, you might going to do and take a leadership role, but it could be totally unexpected. You're gonna take over. You're going to take over and make sure the person who was there before, it's going to be almost like a rebellion against a CEO or a boss, and you just take over the position. So there could be also like you're going to be advocate for people who has no voice, for example. It's a very assertive energy, so you will have a lot of self-confidence and you start to boost your self-confidence and you start to speak in public meetings. You can become someone who is a leader, who is actually creating those kind of protest, leader of the protest. But, also it could bring in some kind of identity crisis as well, especially if you are gay and coming out the closet. It could be some kind of sudden fame, like you're going on social media and your social media account got viral, and one day to another you get some kind of fame as well. The old has to go out, and some kind of new concept is coming into your life. You're going to meet new people, new friends. It could be also like you are quitting something, but you thought it's serving you, but you're realizing, all right, I don't want to continue that. I went through a spiritual awakening, and my beliefs are different right now. And I just going to quit whatever I have done and start everything new. All right, Gemini rising, sun and moon, it's going to happen in your 12th house. 12th house, anything to do with hidden matters, your subconscious, anything to do with art, music. photography, anything to do with hospice, hospitals, hospitality, hotels, jail, and orphanage and homelessness. All right, so what's going to happen here? So it's also your bedroom and your literal dreams. So you might going to have lucid dreams, or you're going to start actually to download actually information from the collective knowledge from God. And there could be also a lot of secret coming out. For example, if you had anyone who is a hidden enemy, finally you're going to recognize who is sabotaging you, and you're capable to pick up the fight with that person. But also it could indicate some kind of secret, family secret, which is there, and it's coming out, and you're going to be shocked about that. This could also bring in some kind of spiritual breakthrough. You might going to actually have a shift, your worldview going to shift, and you can go to retreat. Maybe you're going to go an ayahuasca mushroom retreat, whatever is that, but you opening your third eye. And because of that is hidden talent as well, you might going to discover you can paint or write or sing, and then you're going to start to do that, and it's going to help you with financial stability later in your life. Definitely, there is, if you would like to get rid of some kind of self-sabotaging behavior, you are capable to do some kind of deep self-reflection, and it's going to bring in personal growth in your life. There could be some kind of mental health crisis, because 12 has anything to do with mental health crisis. Like you neglected your well-being for a long time, or your mental health, and it could be like a suicidal thoughts, unfortunately, for some of you, and some kind of crisis. But you can actually go to rehab and overcome that kind of addiction or that kind of crisis, definitely. And if you have any suicidal thoughts, the hotlines, please call it. There is always someone who can listen to you. Guys, life is very, very amazing and important. Don't throw that away, because there is always light end of the tunnel. So that's what I can tell you. There could be also, like right now, you are engaging in secret charitable work, and it's going to bring you soul fulfillment. So actually, whoever have suicidal thoughts, why don't you go and feed the homelesses? And it's giving you purpose, right? Because that's the major issue over here. Just go and get some purpose, and then you will feel better about yourself. You are also capable to go to psychologists and therapists, actually start some kind of therapy, which is going to heal some kind of childhood trauma. And you know what? It is very mystical experience, as I said. So lucid dreaming, meditation, your spiritual beliefs is going through changes. You can talk to the dead people right now. You can have dreams with your people who are passed on right now, and they are bringing you messages, and it's going to be very valuable messages. All right, Cancer rising, Sun and Moon, it's going to happen in your 11th house. 11th house is your community, your friends, your social network. It is gains and luck, and it is salary from your career, right? So you can actually start to join a new social network, a new social group, which is going to be very important for you, and it brings lasting friendship. You can also actually get involved in social activism in a campaign, right? And you can get a leadership role. As I said, you might going to be the person who is going to be the leader of the protest. There could be some kind of disagreement also within a community or with friends, and you will need to take a stand. You can go to court, and you can be in, I forget that word again, judica, like the 12 people who are always helping the judge. Okay, probably you understand what I wanted to say over here, but yes, you can be asked to be in the judicial system somehow. Jury, yes, I remember the name. Okay, so you can actually gain popularity as well during this time, and get unexpected money or bonus from your career, receive unexpected recognition from community. People want to support you. Definitely. And, you know, there could be some kind of major change in your long-term goals. For example, you know, you wanted to become an attorney or something like that. And right now, because of you get other influential friends, they're going to change your mind. It's a change of heart over here, I see, and you're going to totally different opposite direction. But you can start to network, and you know, you can actually get sudden landfall of money from your career or investment, because this is a house of luck and lottery tickets as well. 11th house and 5th house both can be lottery winning. Yes, and you know, like your social media campaign could go viral as well. All right, guys, if you want to volunteer, you can volunteer in shelters, like what brings, you know, joy for you, but it has to do something with justice, and it has to do something with non-profit. So volunteer somewhere what is non-profit. You know, feed the homeless or shelters, dog shelters, whatever it is, but go and volunteer there. And you can reconnect with friends where you actually something where you had some kind of disruption in friendship or gapping in friendship, and right now you're capable to reconnect with them. All right, Leo rising, sun and moon, it's going to happen in your 10th house. 10th house is your honor, recognition, public life, your career. Major disruptive change over here. You get a promotion, and you know, it's significantly going to advance your career. Or, God forbid, because it could go either way, it could be a public scandal, you know, like you went on social media and you know, like you get into some kind of scandal, or, you know, canceled socially, something like that. That's how they say it. So your professional reputation could be affected either good or bad way. But you can be also unexpectedly invited to appear in a television show or podcast. So it could be really, really good. And I have my son is in Leo moon, so I'm hoping for this for sure. Job can change, and it's going to give you actually fulfilling professional life, and you will really, really love it. You can get an award. So maybe you get a Nobel Prize, or you're going to start to do TED Talks. You can go to red carpet. Any kind of project, you know, like major project, like you can become a politician or going for office. If you want to be a mayor, for example, just go ahead, and right now you are capable to fight for yourself over there. If you have a boss, a CEO, someone who is an authoritative figure, it could go against you. So there could be some kind of conflict with an authoritative figure in your career path. Okay. If you want to go and do conferences, as I said, TED Talk, you can be invited, or you are actually going to initiate something like that. Definitely you are capable to launch a new project, and it has to be anything to do with innovation, like what people haven't seen before, and it's going to gain a lot of public attention. So I'm loving that energy for you guys, because it's going to be a major breakthrough for you due to career. All right, Virgo rising, sun and moon, it's going to happen in your 9th house. 9th house is your older siblings, travel, higher education, anything to do with podcast publishing, anything to do with long distance traveling and foreign countries and languages. You know, if you're deciding to study abroad, you will have to be careful a little bit. You can expand your horizon, but careful with aggressive people, right? Not to get kidnapped, for example. Your travel could get disrupted. And, you know, during this transit, I wouldn't go with airplane for sure, because Uranus is airplane, 9th house is also aviation as well. And, you know, Mars over there, it could be like a, God forbid, a rocket is going to shut down airplanes. And we're going to have that probably, because of the war going to get intensified. But But you can get connected with a foreign country, and if you don't necessarily travel during this time, but later on you are capable to have an opportunity or use this opportunity that you get in a foreign country. If you want to publish a book or article, you can get recognition during this time. Also, if you have any legal matters, you are on court, then it could actually affect your court case right now. It could bring in an unexpected turmoil, maybe more witnesses against you or with you. So either or, but it is unexpected. So you will have to get ready for that if you are in court. There is also going to be a major questioning of your philosophical beliefs. So anything to believe in God and your spiritual beliefs, right now you're going to question, and you might going to take a shift over here, and you're not going to believe in what you've been raised with. If you want to enroll, or if you enrolled in university or college and you might have been denied, right now, or not denied, but you didn't get a clear answer, right now they can get back to you and unexpectedly say, oh, by the way, you are in, kind of situation. Ninth house also is your priest, your mentor as well. So you are capable to find new direction with a new mentorship. And if you would like to start to teach, and if you want to teach someone that you are really passionate about, this is the time to start right now. Anything to do with social media, broadcasting, YouTubing could be very, very good for you guys. And even start a new language is good opportunity. All right, Libra rising, sun and moon, it's going to happen in your eighth house. Eighth house is taboos, guys. Anything to do with your shared resources, transformation. It's Phoenix effect, you rebirth. That is sex, death, and death as well. It is medical malpractice, prenup, abortion, surgeries, stock market, banks. Okay, so it house psychological issues, anything to do with psychology or detective work as well, inheritance, right? So you can actually receive an inheritance, and you didn't even know you had an uncle in a foreign country, and it died, and you didn't even know about that. It is an unexpected inheritance, or also some of you can lose somebody unexpectedly. But there could be also a debt resolution as well, because you are going to find a new way to pay off your debts, or your debt's going to be actually debt forgiveness, because of, I heard many times, I had some client who the bank lost their paper for their mortgage of the house, and if you believe it not, they didn't have to pay the house off. So they paid in like 50,000, and the rest of the house, they got it for free. So you can have that kind of situation in your life. But if you are going through some kind of psychological healing, like maybe you were sex trafficked or raped in your childhood, that could be a major healing coming into your life right now. You are finding unexpectedly someone to talk to, and somehow it is bringing up the energy, and you're capable to heal that. And especially because Algol is involved, and in the eighth house, it could be something with sex traffic or anything to do with rape. Relationship could be very, very challenging. Intimacy could be very, very challenging. I would not have any new person sexually. Like a lot of people does those kind of what is that? Uranus ruled. So that is like internet dating, and it's just sex, for example. So to swipe, whatever. I don't even know. I just heard it from my son, but okay, so that's what it is. Don't go to sex date right now, because it could be a psychopath. So don't do that, because really it could bring in crisis, and I wouldn't do that during this time. So be careful. All right, so it could be something with insurance payout, like which going to provide financial reliefs, anything to do with prenups as well. If you are dealing with power struggle, let me drink. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. So yes, it could bring in money from medical malpractice. Okay, So it could bring money in from medical malpractice as well, or insurance money paid out. And it's surprisingly well for you guys. All right, Scorpio rising, sun and moon, it's going to happen in your 7th house. And 7th house is your significant other, your wife or your husband, your relationship in general, your partnership, mediation. And also that is your clients or your followers on social media. So you can form some kind of new business partnership and romantic partnership as well, Scorpios. But also it could be some kind of relationship conflict, and it could be unexpected in an existing relationship. If you are involved in legal matters, so it could bring in either or, because of 7th house is your open enemies as well. I would see the legal matters is killing your open enemies. It's not literal, but you are killing it on court. That's what I meant. So you are winning the case. Public purpose proposal could be, like something to do with have a new business, and or you can get married right now this time. You're engaged or married this time, or because it's Uranian energy and in your 7th house and Mars and Algol is very, very evil, it could also bring in a sudden divorce, a separation, like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to live with this person anymore. You are also going to be capable to gain success if you collaborate with someone. Especially, it could be also like, winning a case on court as well. Yeah. You can reconcile relationship with a friend who you lost a long time ago, who was out from your life a long time ago. If you want to have some kind of or seeking some kind of counseling, like mediation, like you should do that, because otherwise your relationship could go to divorce. So it could improve your relationship with your significant other. And you can get followers on social media. In one day to another, you can become really, really famous. All right, Sagittarius rising, sun and moon. I was talking about that already, because I was talking about Biden and Netanyahu and US. They all have Sagittarius rising. I do have a Sagittarius rising as well. So it's going to happen actually in our 6th house. And 6th house, anything to do with our pet or work or health, and also or rental properties. So there is an upheaval over here, sudden change in your renters. Maybe you are capable to buy a home and rent it out, and it's unexpected. Or it's going to be either a miraculous healing or some kind of major health issue, which could be neurological issue in your health. So be careful. It could be also like some kind of major change in your work, and you're going to get a lot of responsibilities in work. And like, it's either going to significantly improve your well-being, or, it could be very, very stressful as well. But definitely you will need to find a new health regime, guys. And if you have an opinion, you go to doctor and they find something, please get a second opinion, because the first one not going to be valid. There could be a lot of conflict with your colleagues or with your supervisors as well. So be careful not to fight right now with your colleagues and supervisor. You might going to get unexpectedly offered a new job as well. So, and it could bring in a landfall of money, right? But it could be also dealing with some kind of health crisis, which going to require attention, immediate attention. So, if it is actually well aspected in your chart, it is going to go positive. But if it is squaring with Pluto or something, it could be some very devastating news. And if you have pet, then please be careful. I have a dog actually who has seizures, but you know, he doesn't have it for a long time already. I healed him, but Uranus is seizure, so it could bring in a sudden death of a puppy or a pet, a small pet, unfortunately. Unexpected health issues with a small pet. So be careful and make sure you prevent everything for your health, for your pet health as well. You can be evicted from a rental property, you know, them. I mean, it's not funny, but unfortunately it could be. Or you need to leave your rental property because there could be some kind of environmental damage and you're not going to be capable to go back there. Yes, so that's what it is. All right, Capricorn, rising, sun and moon. It's going to happen in your fifth house. Fifth house is your creativity, children, lover, intimacy, anything to do with joy and pleasure and lottery winning and investment. So there could be some kind of creative project that's going to gain public attention. For example, you start to sing or write lyrics or you know, just do some blogs, and it's going to get immediate public attention somehow. And you didn't know you have that gift before. You can also have some kind of unexpected romantic encounter. And if you are actually married, be careful, because you might be drunk and actually you cheat on your spouse and you're going to regret that forever. It could be also a news from unexpected pregnancy. So, for example, if you don't want to get pregnant, make sure you have the plan B, or, you know, like make sure you know, like protect it, because it could bring in something with unexpected pregnancy. Or maybe you are someone who had a child before, but you didn't know, and a child coming into your life because right now they reach out, hey, daddy, you know what, I was born, you didn't know, and right now I'm coming and I want to meet you, something like that. You are also capable to turn a hobby into a career at this moment, and it's going to be very well recognized. If you have romantic relationship, as I said, it could be some kind of affair what you didn't want to, and the one who have the affair with going to fall in love with you and want to tell your spouse, and it's going to create struggle and conflict. So be careful. And it's a very harsh energy, so it could be actually physically aggressive. So if you are a woman and if you had some kind of relationship with someone who is married, careful, because this is that kind of movie where the woman got actually killed, you know, because of they get pregnant and they want to have the man after one date or two dates and get away from the wife. So please be mindful, careful, and always prevent those kind of dangerous situations, and think before you act. Think before you act. That's very, very important. If you had any kind of creative blockage in your hobbies, in your creative project, Uranus is going to bring in an unexpected turmoil. You're going to be very energetic and you're going to have a lot of muse right now. And you're going to get more performance opportunities. So if you are actually having a showcase, or if you have some kind of acting talents or things like that, you're going to have opportunities to show your talents to others. And you can also actually have some kind of gambling gain as well. I mean, you know, it could go either way, but Uranus Mars could bring in unexpected gain in gambling. All right, Aquarius, rising, sun and moon, it's happening in your fourth house. Fourth house is your home, your family, your real estate. That's your roots. That's your nurturing mother figure, or actually parent figure, the nurturing one. And also because the fourth house is funerals and endings as well, it is actually representing that area as well in our life. you might going to go through actually a sudden renovation in the house, and because of maybe there was an earthquake and the structure get actually broken and you need to renovate the house, or some kind of natural disaster and you need to renovate the house. You are also capable to host a family reunion, and it's supposed to be in somebody else's house, but they are not capable to host it, and they're gonna put that in your house. It could bring in also unexpected inheritance as well, and also relocating in a new city or new country, and it's going to be totally unexpected. You get a new job, a promotion, an opportunity, you're going to take on to that, and you are like, all right, we are going like a family. You are also capable to invest in property, and then if you are buying, that's going to bring in a lot of profit for you. And be careful with family members not to have conflict with, because there could be a major conflict with family members, fighting, physical fighting, verbal conflict. So just careful, all right? And if you start a business at home, it's actually very supportive energy right now. So maybe you actually commute to your work office, and right now you said, you know what, I want to work from home, that's it. Also, it could bring in an energy right now where you're going to discover some kind of new information, which is going to be changing your life. It's significant for you, and it's about your ancestry, anything to do with your grandparents, anything to do with your father, mother. Maybe you realize they are not your biological parents, right? So something like that. Yes, so that could be some kind of domestic change also in your life and in your living arrangement. You might going to bring in actually a parent figure who are old and they are not capable to support themselves anymore. All right, last but not least, my fellow Pisceans. I have my sun in Pisces, and Pisces rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your third house. Third house is communication, your younger siblings, your short distance traveling, your skill-based and craft-based study, anything to do with your vehicles, your neighborhood communities and relatives, niece, nephews, uncles, aunts. All right, so and also it's your writing project as well. So what's gonna happen for you guys? You might going to gain popularity from some kind of writing. You maybe already wrote a book and it's going to become very popular. Or you're just going to start to write because you're going to have a lot of insight. Uranus is the higher brain. It is connected with the universal energy. So obviously you can download a lot of information during your sleep. And you are Pisces, you are miraculous, you are a person who is very spiritual. You also have some kind of issue over here. Maybe you have to deal with a sibling or some stupid neighbors, right? And there are going to be conflicts, and that it's going to be an annoying issue. But I truly believe you are magical fishes and you are capable to solve these issues for sure. If you would like to learn anything, a new skill, anything, take a course or start an online course on yourself, on by yourself, like teach online, or you are creating content for your online school. This is absolutely possible right now. And you're going to be invited for like short travels, for example, by a friend, and you might going to have some kind of spontaneous traveling. Maybe you have to do lectures, and you're going to take on to that opportunity. You're going to invite to podcast, for example, and you have to travel for it, and you're going to take on to it. So it's good opportunities for you guys. Definitely, it could be a change in your neighborhood, or your neighbors could change. Uranus Mars could be shooting as well. So in your neighborhood community could be some kind of shooting going on as well. So some kind of accident as well. You can also have some kind of unexpected issue with your vehicle, because third house rules your car, your vehicle, and your Uranus Mars, it is something to do with the speed or electricity. It's the computer system. So if you have anything electrical please be careful, it could create accident. On social media, you can go actually viral and you can become very famous. But definitely going to start to expand your professional network. If you are having some kind of communication issues with your families, you have to straighten that up for, because it could be very demanding. And, as I said, you're going to be invited to speak to events and it could be podcast, and like other YouTubers could invite you as well. That's what I wanted to say, guys. Yes. All right. So what else? I don't know. You know what? I didn't really, that is the end right now, but I forgot to actually mention Trump in my mundane perspective over here. And I'm going to right now analyze him. And also I'm going to go back to Biden a little bit as well, because of, I didn't really talk about Biden. I was saying, yes, Biden has Taurus moon in the 6th house and Uranus and Mars going to happen in the 6th house, and it is going to affect his stability and health. And because of its opposing his natal sun, it's going to also take him to the hospital, but it's also square his natal Chiron in the 9th house. So for example, he's going to be wounded or vulnerable, and 9th house, anything to do with long distance traveling. So he might be actually in a foreign country when he's going to become very vulnerable and unhealthy. And because of yesterday, I was watching the news, 9th house is court system. It's ruled by Jupiter, right? And his son get actually convicted because of illegally had guns and wanted to get rid of it, and the drug abuse as well. So it could affect Biden health, because he only has that son alive. The other son died, and her first daughter died as well. Biden has a lot of stellium in Scorpio in the 12th house, so his life was very, very hard. He really suffered, this man, a lot. But right now, even his ending going to be really, really struggling and very sad kind of ending over here. And also Venus, which is rules this Uranus-Taurus conjunction, right? Because it's in Taurus. Venus transit natal Pluto and its square natal moon in Taurus. So this is definitely not only emotionally very hard on him, like the son got convicted. So he just going to be out, guys, and that's absolutely, like, his health is going to go in crisis. He's emotionally and also he's psychologically and he cognitively, he not gonna be capable to do anything. He gonna get hospitalized. So this conviction, it is definitely going to, what's happened with his son, going to affect his campaign as well. And he's not going to be able to fulfill his presidential duties. And he has to temporarily withdraw from public engagement as well, 12th house influences, but he never gonna come back because there is no recovery from here. All right, and then I forgot, so enough from Biden. Let's talk about just a tiny bit about Trump, because Trump is the opponent, right? The opposition over here, the Republican Party. So we know he got convicted in the hush money, and it's what, 40, I just learned it's 34 cases because he paid the hush money out in 34 installments. For goodness sake, if you are paying off a prostitute, a porn star, you don't pay $100,000 if you are a millionaire. You pay over $1 million and she shuts up, right? And on the other hand, why do you pay in 34 installments? That is just like crazy. It is like totally ridiculous. All right. But it's gonna happen on his midheaven. Midheaven is highest point in our astrology chart, and actually that is our purpose. So it's happening in his 10th house, because of Trump has midheaven in Taurus, and there is a sudden change over here in his public image, in his presidential campaign, in his public life, in his career. And because he has actually a Leo ascendant, and he has natal Mars in Leo in the first house, this Uranus and Mars and Algol, which is on his career midheaven, squares Mars, which is very aggressive. And it's affecting violatory his personal life. Actually, I was thinking maybe they try to actually shut Trumps for some reason. I wouldn't see that before because I thought they're going to try to shut Canada, but somehow I do see that right now. So, midheaven is, as I said, it is definitely his reputation, and it's a change in his reputation. But I learned right now, Republicans and really, really deep-rooted Republicans, at least 9% wouldn't want to support a Republican who is convicted. And there is also another 4% there who is very rigid around adultery. So a 4% who wouldn't vote for someone who actually, did adultery, so cheated on their wife or husbands. And Mars, because it's in his first house and he has a Leo ascendant, it is definitely going to affect his body, his vitality as well. So I would say there is a threat for Trump and his personal safety for sure. And God forbid if it is, because I know Trumpers, people who follow Trump and who wants him to succeed, that is almost like a cult, and it could become like terrible because it could indicate like he can actually, with his winning or without winning, because Uranus Mars is happening on his midheaven of public image, he is creating the protest and the social unrest with his presence itself, right? So, and Venus rules actually this Taurus, Uranus, Mars, and Algol conjunction in Taurus. And Venus is relationship and values, right? And finances. And Venus transit actually conjunct natal Pluto in Leo. And it's square transit Pluto. Pluto, anything to do with banks, big amount of money, support from people who has a lot of money, very, very wealthy people over here. And this square actually could withdraw the support for him for some reason. Because it could bring up it's happening in the 12th house, also natal Venus conjunct Saturn in Cancer in the 12th house, right? So there is a square over here, which is like some kind of issues with and personal relationship and financial matters as well, which is going to take away some kind of power because there is hidden enemies who wants to take away power from him. And finances and values could decrease right now because of there is restriction and people are not going to necessarily help as much as they did before. And definitely, the Uranus-Mars conjunctions where square natal Mars could be some kind of physical danger over there. It could be something to do with also airplane, helicopter, explosion, anything to do with gun violation, something very destructive, and it could be a destructive and accident, aggressive accident over here, which is creating injuries. And because Venus Saturn is in the 12th house, it's also hospitalize him, or they can put him in house arrest, and his public image is going to suffer again if he's gonna go under house arrest. But definitely he's going to create more protest just to be who he is. Yes. All right. And let me see his election and campaign, if it is there something. Um, well, changing his campaign effort for sure, Uranus and Mars. I don't see anything else over there. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening, liking, commenting. This is a very destructive energy. It is not a good news, but I was actually bringing to you. However, as I said, on personal level, I gave you a lot of positive because it could turn out positive on personal level. So bear with me, stay with me. Please follow, like, and subscribe. And also comment below. This is the only way algorithm going to find me, and I can create more content for you. Not everything is going to be this destructive, so don't get scared and use the energy for your growth, because we still can grow from pain and hardship. Like I tell that to everyone all the time, but at least try to use the energy, try to use the rain or the storm for your advantage, like to make sure your plants are growing during that time. All right. Thank you so much again. Bye for now.